Hello everybody. In this video I want to talk to you about an aspect of English language training that actually doesn't exist. And I argue that it should be a major component of any English language training. I'm talking about vocal exercises. Exercises that improve your diction and your pronunciation, which when you think about it makes perfect sense to be part of an English language course. But for some strange reason, it isn't. And it is strange because when you think about it, learning a foreign language isn't just about learning a whole new set of words and grammar structures. A foreign language can also introduce you to strange vocal sounds that are very difficult to master. For example, for English-speaking people, that h sound that we get in the Spanish language is very, very difficult for us to replicate. And don't even get me started on the sound that you get in Arabic. But English itself has its vocal problems for non-native speakers. For example, the R sound can be a problem in certain parts of the world, so can the W sound, W, can be a problem, but for most people, the biggest problem in English is the TH sound, th. In both actually its soft and its hard forms. And yes, in English we do have soft and hard forms of th, which is, for example, in thick and thin we have just the aspirate, just the breath without the vocal, and then we have this and that, which is using the voice. But for non-native English-speaking people around the world, it can be a bit of a problem. So, how do we solve this? Well, there are three parts of the face that have a direct effect on our diction and our pronunciation. And those three parts are the lips, the teeth, and the tip of the tongue. The sides of the tongue as well, but most especially the tip. And of those three components, the part that is the most important is the tongue. The placing of the tongue in your mouth affects every single sound that you make with your mouth. Even if you don't think that it's actually an operation, by simply lying flat on the bottom of your mouth, you are using your tongue to create a sound. So having a strong tongue is vital to improve your diction and your pronunciation. So what I do with my class, I have these vocal exercises. And not only do they improve the diction and the pronunciation and therefore the confidence of my class, but they also work as a fantastic icebreaker. They make your class fun and interesting and different, and they make you a very engaging and fantastic and lovable teacher. So, I have really 2 or 3 exercises that I want to show you here for you to go away and do with your class, whatever you wish. So the first and primarily is the exercise that involves your tongue. So what I do is I get my students to stick their tongue out at me, and I do the same to them. It can often be embarrassing, particularly, I'll be honest with you, around female students, male students, particularly teenagers. They love this idea of being able to pull their tongue out at the teacher. What I then get them to do is to stretch it even further. How far can you pull your tongue out of your mouth? And however far you think you can get it, just go for that extra millimeter. Can you turn your tongue to the left hand side? Can you turn your tongue? I'm going to do this closer. The left hand side of your mouth, the right hand side of your mouth. Can you touch your nose with your tongue? All of these are great tongue exercises. And by having a strong tongue, you can produce much more accurate sounds in the language that you are wanting to learn, because you have command over the three components of your face that conduct diction and pronunciation. The second exercise that I have was shown to me when I was 16 years old at drama school. Thankfully, I had at the time a drama teacher who was known actually throughout the world as being an authority on diction and pronunciation. And I've put the details of him right here so you can go and check this guy out. And he was the guy that taught me practically everything that I know about diction. And what he said is that the three component parts of the face which dictate diction actually make a really good tongue twister. And those three component parts again are the lips, I'm going to do again this close, the lips, the teeth and the tongue, particularly the tip. And his vocal exercise is to say the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. To try and say that 3 times quite rapidly. You don't have to do it, at an incredibly high speed, because the purpose of that particular exercise is to ensure that you make the TH sound, not making it into a D sound, but you keep it as a th sound, and that you don't run the words into each other. So, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. The lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. And that's really it. Get your class to have these vocal exercises. I recommend that you spend the first 5 minutes of every lesson that you do having vocal exercises. Get your class to breathe properly, get them to open their mouths, get them to speak. You will notice that when they do then speak, when they read from a book, or when they just talk to you in conversation in English, that their mouth opens, their diction improves, their confidence levels are raised. And not only that, it is a great icebreaker. It makes your class fun, and it wakes up your students if it's a really dull Sunday morning, or it's last thing on the Friday and they just really want to go home. So yeah, get your kids, get your students to stick their tongue out at you, and you stick your tongue out at your students. And that's it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.